Ooh, what's going on YouTube? It's Donnie B all day. So, I recently picked up 3 different size Crocodile Dundee knives. A 10-inch, which we're going to do today, a 13-inch, and an 18-inch. Now, this is one of the most redone, famous, copied, whatever knife designs ever done. Ever since Crocodile Dundee, the movie, came out, this knife, that's no knife, that's a knife. This knife has become insanely popular. So popular, in fact, that right there, I even did my own version of one. And I made mine completely different. As a matter of fact, let me show you. Hold on. All right, so when you look at mine next to the Down Under Knives version, which is in my hand, that's wiggling. The Down Under Knives version is like the most, I would say, closest movie replica knife that you're going to find. My version, the gator tail, is a whole lot different. Different blade size, different blade shape, different fullers. What I did is, you could see where the guard is. Instead of making a brass guard, I did it integral. I took off the curly piece, but I basically kept the guard shape almost the same. And then I did a completely different grip, true full tang, which this is not. Even not true full tang, this thing has proved itself to be a beast. The problem is, and I'll show you on the 18-inch, this is what the grip would normally be pretty close to, except it's stacked leather, and then it would be a different center, and then stacked leather. But this one, even though it's as close to the original, the original, rather than having a different stacked leather internal, I believe the original had a wrap in the middle, just a gator skin wrap that was sewn together and tightened around there. And I think the whole thing was stacked leather, as this one was. The problem is, it's a stick tang. So the tang came down, and you can actually see just about right there's my pin. The tang comes down to about here, and then it was a rat tail holding this guy, which screws on, and this one, I didn't even touch this yet, and it already has a little bit of wiggle. But we'll go over this one eventually. And so what happens is, the little stick tang at the end is the weakest point. So I was messing with this one, and I threw it, and one of my throws hit and then rolled. After the tip hit the wood, it rolled up, hit there, and it bent the rat tail. So what I did is, instead of saying, oh no, now it's a bad knife, because this knife is freaking awesome, I decided I'll just make it better. I cut off the rat tail completely. I took this piece of wood, I carved it down to the way I wanted it. You can see it meets up perfectly there. I took a coat hanger, the twisty part of the coat hanger where you have the little hook and then it twists together. So I have a double piece, you can see, there's 2 pieces of wire, and that's how I made my pin, was with a coat hanger. I drilled a hole straight through the tang. You can see how it opens up. Makes it better for my hand. I drilled a hole through the tang, and I cut a notch inside of this piece of wood, that way, so the stick tang could fit inside, and now it's way stronger. And it gives you a little something different, right? But this knife, I love. I absolutely 100% love this knife. And it does come with the best damn sheath. Even a sharpening rod, which is all I use, a honing rod, to on my blades. I use a Shanzu kitchen knife set honing rod, and that's what I do. Every time I use a knife, I just hone it up. So that, and you can see I burned it, obviously, to give it that good look and make it extra strong, the wood. That has been fantastic for me. I love it. But that's the Crocodile Dundee knife, right? So now I found 2 rifles falling. I found all three of these sizes, and they're all eBay specials, right? So there's no big brand or anything like that. They're just discount style eBay cheapos, basically. But it's, do they work? And I wanted to try and find all three in D2 because I'm a big D2 fan. So let's go over this one first. I want to kind of go quick with this because I want to take it outside and cut. The leather smells a little weird, but it's leather. You got a leather sheath with a dangler. This one is probably the nicest sheath out of the three. Very well done. Very well done. Let's see the price on this. And what I'll do is I'll put the seller's page down there so you can see what they have. And he's Craft Wares is what it is. And let's see. Oh, I was just looking up the price. I totally went right past it. So the price on this one is $40. It's $39.99. So overall is a 10-inch length. The blade is 5.5 inches. The handle is, it says 64.5 inches. I think they're wrong. Let's see. The handle is 4 3/4 inches. Some misprint. The material on this one is D2, and that's what brought me to it. It is a black resin with brass guard, and you have some leather stacking in there. The hardness, the Rockwell says it's 50 to 55, which means I don't know how well heat treated this is. Genuine leather sheath. It says construction is full tang fixed blade, but it can't be because then that would not sit on there. Unless they just glued it. If it's full tang and they glued it, and you say, how can it be full tang? Full tang just means it goes all the way to the end. So it could be a stick tang on the inside that goes all the way to the end, and this just shrouds it. But I have a feeling that it's not. Inspired by legendary Crocodile Dundee. All right, so let's do first things first. Whoa. Okay, so right out of the box, hard to see, but it is razor sharp. Razor sharp. So that's a good thing, but we want a full test, so let's go outside. All right, let's get a good shot of it in the sun here. You can really get a good look at it. Now, I have to say, if this thing deems worthy, if it performs okay, and remember, I don't try to break them, but I am going to use it, and if it's cheap and it breaks, that's on the knife. That's not going to be on me. I would never break a knife on purpose because that is a jerk move. But this thing, if worthy, would actually make a really, really good EDC style knife. This thing is perfectly sized. It's just right. So let's see if it's worthy of being your everyday carry. All right, first things first, we're going to do some gravity drops. We'll do some 4-foot gravity drops. And if I can hit it in dead center, we will see how that bite is from the tip. It is nicely swedged, and it did go a good 1/4 of an inch. So you can see right there, I hope you can see the line of how far it went in. Let's try that again. And it rolled. I am getting a little bit of wind, but it shouldn't be that bad. All right, there. And yeah, we're at about a 1/4 inch of depth on a 4-foot gravity drop. Let's do a couple of hard downward throws. What this is going to do, A, it's going to test the bite. B, it's going to test the tip. And C, it's going to see if anything wiggles and wobbles and moves in there. Oh, the dog almost walked in front. Uh-oh, I missed. I made it, but I missed. It rolled. Bam. That's a good solid shot. That's a good 1/2 inch in. Man, that's an even more solid shot. And that is some very hard wood. But you can see that is about a 1/2 inch in. And that is pretty nice. My guards are not loose. The handle is not loose. Okay, so far so good. All right, let's do some cutting tests. We'll start with an attempted push cut. Luckily, the spine being, I don't know what that is, maybe somewhere between 3 and 4 millimeters. it leads enough to where I can get a good push. Wow, that was sharp. Look how clean that cut was on a push cut. I'm honestly not going to lie to you. I didn't expect it to be that way. I thought I was going to have to give it a little bit of push, a little bit of wiggle, but that one went right through. Of the three, just off the rip, this is definitely my favorite of the three, just the way it feels in hand, the size. I do like this one the best, but we will keep going and see how she do. The round rubber hose, remember, if it crushes and becomes oval, that means the knife is not sharp. So this one, whoop, I slid right off. I was hoping, oh, there we go. I was hoping for the pop. Now you can see this one made it oval. So where I was on the tip wasn't sharp enough to cut through without squishing it. Let's try a different spot. It didn't pop that time, but again, you can see it's oval. Now I do a lot of knife reviews and I'll cut and it'll be perfectly round because of the edge. This one, the only reason it's happening isn't because the edge isn't sharp. It's because it's thick before the edge. The grind right here doesn't fit seamlessly into the edge. So where you have your edge carved in, that first bevel right here is really thick, and that's what's catching and making it oval. But I do it all the time. I use this all the time, and people must think, oh, every single time you cut, it's still round, which means it doesn't squish. Well, proof is in the pudding. So if you watch other videos and you see that it is not squishing, it's because of the thickness of the blade and the edge profile together makes clean slices where this one did not. Proof is in the pudding, baby. Proof is in the pudding. All right. And obviously I'm not one of those people. I'm not gonna lie and tell you it's doing one thing when it's not. Everything I do on video so you can see. I love the people who comment, oh, that knife is gonna break after your first use after a full video. And I say, well, why isn't it broken? You know, it's proof is in the pudding. Again, clean rip. The nylon did not score, which means the actual edge is sharp. Because if it wasn't sharp, this would be all frayed. So you have 2 layers of nylon, 2 layers of rubber, and we will finish this rip off right here. And you see how it frayed because of the way I grabbed it? Completely different kind of cut, right? So we know it's sharp because A, it shaved my hair, and B, it cut that without fraying. But just changing that angle shows you that it, I just poked myself. It just showing that angle, making that angle made it fray. Just the way it is. I don't think I did any damage. It was just that little tiny little spot. But not so bad. Not so bad at all. Let's see here. So this is where this thing's gonna shine, is your camp usage. So a really, really nice setup to get you good swoops, things like that. We'll see about curls. I'm going to go with a side grip because there's a fuller. It makes side grip holding so easy. We'll try to get some curls here. Now you see the angle. I started here. The edge isn't touching it because it's so thick here, and that's what crushed that little rubber thing. So what I have to do is lift the blade, and once I do that, I can very easily, just by changing the angle of the knife, I can go from swoops to curls. And it makes a huge difference. You can see the 2 types of feathering, all by just how you hold and how you move your knife. So that there's pretty excellent. I got ants crawling up my leg. All right, here we go. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. I was waiting to see if this was going to loosen. I got no loosening. Not a big thick log, but batoning is batoning. Hitting it is hitting it. So we're going to just give it a couple hits here. All right. I'm feeling no guard loosening. And with a knife like this, that's what you're going to wait for. You're going to wait for these to loosen, this to start spinning. And that didn't happen. That didn't happen at all. So that is not so bad. Let's see about skinning. This is leather, rubber, mesh, and the edge is just right for that kind of thing. So, I mean, this is a pretty well-rounded knife. It's pretty well-rounded. I would have to say that it doesn't appear to be made poorly. Using the same points of the edge that I've been using, it's still cutting. So with the heat treat, it's not like up. I used it on something once and it went dull. That didn't happen. As a matter of fact, I don't know if it's still gonna. It's gonna blow away, but right there, there's hair. There's hair. It's still pulling hair. So, I mean, what do you say? Let's go hit something. All right, here we go. That's not bad, especially for a 10-inch. Oh, look at all those little freaking thorns right there. Those are just waiting to get me. Those are just waiting on me. They're grab here, bitch. All right, right there. Oh, I gotta stay away from those. Those guys are nasty. Those are nasty. All right, let's just take a few swats at this and see how we get for bite. I'm gonna use my ring finger. So I'm taking my pinky off of the grip completely. Use my ring finger on the end so I can get more leverage. Wow. I even just dropped down a finger so I can get even more. And I'm still holding on to the knife because the grip is pretty good. Lose an angle here, but I am chopping like crazy. I mean, I hope that the camera's picking that up. That's really, really good. Well, I know the camera picked that up. Ta-da! Let's see. There isn't an ounce of loosening in this thing. So a 10-inch Crocodile Dundee knife, and I can see where the tang is. It's about that big. It's only like a 1/2 inch, and it runs through here. And then there's probably just a little nub here for this to screw onto, and that's why they're calling it full tang. But I can see how wide the tang is. And I mean, it's kind of built like a K-bar almost, where you have that skinny stick tang that runs through the middle, and then there's going to be a little area on the end to screw on the edge, on the end there. I don't know. What can I say bad about it? It would be considered a budget blade. It is a budget blade. And it's one of those handmade blades from another country that you would just expect not to do well, but it absolutely performs. Hone it up, it's ready for another day. I mean, I can't dismiss it. I can't. So, the 10-inch Crocodile Dundee knife, I gotta say, that's winner chicken dinner right there. That's a pretty good bargain. And it looks good. I do like this. So, that one right there, that's all right. All right, that's it for this one. I am Donnie BLD. Until next knife.